Last week, Willie Peters has decided there is no reason to change a winning side. The only switch comes on the bench. Matty Staunton was suspended for the trip to the Halliwell Jones. He takes the place of Jack Brown. As for Castleford, well, Craig Lingard has Liam Horne available again after suspension, so he comes straight back in at hooker. George Lawler's partner this afternoon went into labour. We wish her all the best. So he is replaced by Liam Watts. Lewis Johnson moves into the centres, so Nixon Putt comes in at loose into the second row. There's no place for Corey Hall. Jason Gary replaces teenager Fletcher Reaney on the bench, and George Hill also drops to the bench. Let's have a look at tonight's snapshot and say a very good evening to my co-commentator John Wilkin, who joins me tonight in the commentary position. Great to see you, John. Take us through the snapshot and I focus on two players that really had the X factor.
Yeah, good evening, Fraser. Good evening, everyone. Mikey Lewis, well, what a star, Fraser. Really matured this year. He's instrumental to everything great that Hull KR do. You look at their form. Won 4 out of the last 5. They've been in exquisite form, and the Warrington win last week. On the other side of that, Tex Hoy, Casa sat in 10th. More points than they currently had at this stage last year. So Craig Lingard looking to progress and keep improving. Tex Hoy's been a shrewd piece of recruitment. Really struggled at Hull, but seems to have got it going. That being said, 2 losses on the spin for Cass, just flattened recently, Fraser.
Castleford looking to bounce back after what's been a pretty difficult couple of weeks for them. Hull Kingston Rovers last week in that game against Warrington, they were absolutely sensational, weren't they?
One of the most remarkable performances I've seen in Super League history. A defensive performance that you can build on, that you can build an entire culture, a team around. It was that good. And if you look at the back row for this Hull KR team in Hadley, Batchelor and Minchella, the work that they do, how industrious they are, just really fuels this Hull KR machine.
I think the most impressive thing for many people will have been the defensive performance they put in. When Warrington were knocking on the door time and time again, they answered it.
Well, it's not easy to stop George Williams and Matt Duffy, and Hull KR made it look very simple. And it came, like I said, through incredible, nuanced defensive work from some exceptional back rowers that they have. The only issue here is if they can reach that level of performance again. They did it last week. Their challenges, and Willie Peters has issued a war cry this week, Fraser, for them to get to that level every single week. That's their minimum standard. And now we'll see here if they can deliver. Because Craig Lingard's only chance is if Willie Peters' men turn up with a flimsy attitude and don't reach that standard again. Then they're a chance.
We shall see. It promises to be an intriguing evening. Liam Rush is the man in the middle. He is our referee tonight. The video referee is Marcus Griffiths. It is a packed Sewell Group, Craven Park here this evening, as it has been throughout most of the season. As the old saying goes, build it and they will come. Well, they've come in droves week after week here. It's been a beautiful afternoon. The sun has been shining. The sky is pretty blue. And we're all set for Castleford to get us off and underway with a high ball straight away into the hands of Tyrone May with that new haircut of his. And Hull KR receiving the first ball away to our right-hand side and immediately trying to show a little bit of intent by pushing their way forward, and yet at the same time Castleford in response pushing them back an extra couple of metres.
But just a word on that man, Joe Burgess probably had his best performance as a Robin. Again, Willie Peters referencing his effort and his attitude, his willingness to defend, not something that he's known for, but it shows you how important this club find the defensive attributes.
He covered every blade of grass last week, Joe Burgess, didn't he? He was absolutely sensational. Here's Elliot Minchella, who you'll notice has a head bandage on tonight because he got a bit of a knock last week, which resulted in him having to go off for a bit of treatment in order to get the claret cleaned off him. So making sure that he will not be experiencing any similar problems this evening. And the first kick forward has gone out into the corner.
Yeah, good kick pressure from Castleford. It just forced Tyrone May to kick higher than he wanted to. Didn't quite get the distance, so Castleford start 28 yards out from their try line. A positive first set from them defensively.
Liam Horne at dummy half, having missed the game last week. A vital player as far as Castleford Tigers are concerned. A real jack-in-the-box type player who can cause all sorts of problems for defenders. Castleford defending in numbers, Rovers rather defending in numbers early doors. And the Tigers up to their own 40-metre line as Horn waits from the ball from Nixon putt. And through to the middle for Muiz Mustafa. Almost to the halfway line. Minchella again, along with Batchelor, forming the defence. Here's Eli El-Zakim, just over the halfway line. 3 players having to bring him down before eventually Horn sets himself and sets the team up again for that first kick forward. And a high hoisted one from Rowan Mills.
His return serve from Hulkar, solid defensive setting off the back of that, one of their non-negotiable traits. Kick pressure, again, Minchella, Hadley and Batchelor all around all of the positive effort areas in the game. Hulkar will just be searching to get to a level of intensity that they felt last week. Last week felt like a huge game. It's sometimes difficult to get to that level of arousal week after week. We've got to do that here.
Petter Hiku being told to launch the ball for a second time, in fact a third time now. He's been pushed back an extra half a yard or so by the referee, being told to make sure that he does things properly. Ryan Hall through the middle. Super League's all-time leading try scorer again, which I'm sure he'll never get tired of hearing people say, as Dean Hadley has it now in the middle. Parcell waits at dummy half. Just up to the halfway line, and Parcell finds May with the kick forward. Testing one for Tex Hoy, underneath it well, and quickly set upon by several red and white shirts, so no quarter given there as far as defending is concerned.
Yeah, great kick chase, fantastic from Hulkar. And, you know, they're so difficult to beat at home, only lost twice here this year, so won 8 of the 10 home games, and it's fueled by that east stand, isn't it? The packed east stand just gives this side energy, a really tough place to come and play.
Quick hands from Westerman. As Mustafa out wide to the left-hand side for Miller, and then the tackle is too quick on the edge of the halfway line as the offside is given.
Yeah, just a bit sloppy, just a yard in front of the referee. Didn't quite get back, actually get the numbers wrong. It's 4-on-3 down there for Castleford. Miller spots it. He ends up turning it back inside. Tyrone May just a step offside. Referee no choice but to give the penalty. Opportunity for Castleford, this Fraser, so early in the game.
It's 40 metres, or rather 30, sorry, from the Rovers try line as Horn waits. Pushed away to Miller, and now Westerman. And the first real push forward through the middle for Liam Watts, who's been brought into the side. He originally was due to start on the bench this evening, but due to George Lawler being called away for fatherly duties, we wish him all the best. Him and his partner, of course. Tex Hoy now at dummy half, away to Mills. And Westerman again. Quick hands in towards Watts, bringing it forward. Heavy defending again for Rovers. And El-Zakim at dummy half this time. Mills elects to run it back and then goes the other way. Try to draw the defenders in. He'll look and try to get an offload perhaps, but nothing doing on that particular occasion. 10 metres from the line now with Westerman. Westerman out wide to the left-hand side for Miller. Down the line they go. Very, very close. Very, very close, but have Hulkingston Rovers managed to hold up the play here?
Time off.
The video referee has decided he wants to have a look at this one. So first of all, we go to Marcus Griffiths for our first time this evening.
It's tackle 5. We have an on-field decision of a try, so we're just looking at the grounding. So at this point, Miller is in possession of the ball. We lose vision of the ball at that point, and we never gain it back on that angle. Okay, so we will take camera 9 to see if we have a view of the ball. Okay, so we have a view of the ball at this point. So the ball is up. We then lose the ball there. So we will go to camera 8 to see if the ball remains up. So at this point, we'll flip the angle. So we know that the ball is up at this point. So we've still got a view of the ball. It has not yet been grounded. We lose it there, but we go back there. And we can see we lose the ball at that point. Hold on, we'll go back. So the ball is up. You can see the point of the ball is under a Hull KR player's arm. But we then lose it on both angles. We'll take a look from the back to see whether the ball, if we have anything else that will help us. Nothing there, and we'll take a look from this camera angle to see if there's anything that helps us. Okay, so with the live decision of a try, we have insufficient evidence to overturn the live call. I've made a decision.
So a tough decision for the video referee, but not enough evidence given to overturn this decision. And Alex Mellor has opened the scoring for the Castleford Tigers. And just as you were saying, John, if Hull KR don't come out here with the right attitude, the Tigers will punish them.
It's a try from Mellor, but it's poor from Tyrone May. Just got caught offside, 2 yards in front of the referee, no real reason whatsoever. And that just gifted Castleford position. And it's Joe Westerman. How often do we see this man pull the trigger on shape and it comes good? It's a great line from Mellor. Couldn't really see much of that ball getting close to the ground. We had a look at numerous angles, couldn't make it. So on-field decision stands. Great line from Mellor, but set up by Westerman. And it's off the back of Hull KR's poor details and poor discipline. Where's that?
Rowan Milnes then, trying to add the extras. And he struck it beautifully. And much against most people's expectations. We've got 6 minutes on the clock and Castleford leading by 6 points to 0.
Yeah, it's a beautiful kick from Milnes off the sideline, isn't it? Westerman digs in. Whenever he digs into the line and Castleford have more than the fair share of possession, he's dangerous. So watch out for Joe Westerman. He's certainly key to every single thing they do. What a kick from Milnes. What a kick.
So Castleford back in possession then, just over their own 10-metre line, and that will no doubt give them a huge burst of confidence as Horn gets it away through the middle for Watts. Horn again goes for Westerman. A lot on his shoulders tonight as Tex Hoy is snaffled by Ryan Hall. Horn again down to his left once more for Westerman. And they're finding it difficult at this stage to try and get out of their own half here, Castleford, because the Rovers' defence is doing a good job again. Here comes the last. It's gone out wide for a long one, and the expected kick didn't come. And then Jason Gary can't quite keep hold of it on the near side.
Well, it's pressure, kick pressure from Dean Hadley, and that just forced Rowan Milnes to just check what his plan was. His plan was to get the kick away. It just rolls to his outside shoulder, fires it to Gary. It's a poor ball, Fraser. Couldn't take it, but for me, that's a poor pass. It's a poor option. He got spooked by kick pressure. Just follow through with what your initial plan was, is just to drill that ball down there.
Rovers get possession back then on the halfway line as Whitbread. First big run for him. Parcell away to the right-hand side. And Batchelor. Now with Minchella quickly to Tyrone May. Good quick hands. And here comes Mikey Lewis. First opportunity for him to cause some chaos in the Castleford line. And he manages to do just a little bit of that. He's one of those players, John, isn't he, that every time he gets hold of the ball, everybody gets excited.
Yes, Castleford have conceded a penalty here, just trying to apply some pressure to the Hull KR attack. But yeah, Mikey Lewis is dangerous. He's lethal when he skips back to the inside of the line. His footwork's electric and he's so strong.
They take it quickly. Tyrone May out from Evalds and into Batchelor again, stealing an extra yard or two as Matt Parcell waits just behind him. Elects to go to his left. Minchella running at the line. Castleford holding strong at the moment. 10 metres from their own line as Parcell out towards Jai Whitbread. Extra metres being sought here as Parcell runs it quickly for Sue. Sue very close. Very, very close indeed. He'll want this played quickly, Mark Parcell. He gets it away quickly for Minchella. Here's Evalds. Evalds with a back ball out the pass towards Hiku. Peter Hiku over in the corner. And just as we were wondering what the response would be from Hull Kingston Rovers, they show us in style. Peter Hiku hits back.
And it comes back from the Rowan Milne's choice to run the ball and not execute his play to Gary. That gave Hull KR possession, it gave them field position, and all of their key players get excited. Minchella's on the ball, Lewis is on the ball, Matt Parcell, all of their key personnel love to attack. So it just gifted them the opportunity, and wasn't it executed well? Niall Evalds out the back, he really stressed out Alex Mellor, who's a back rower playing in the centre. Evalds' pace is just a constant threat. Spoke about Lewis, look about how excited he gets in attack. The try was all about Niall Evalds' pace. Once he gets the ball, he just stresses Mellor out. Hiku's too strong. Smart play to turn him under, Fraser.
Lovely ball from the back, wasn't it, from Niall Evalds?
Yeah, and it starts tight and he goes really lateral, and you just see him stress out Alex Mellor, flicks the ball inside. Well, after a poor start from Hull KR, that's exactly what they needed, but that was gifted to them by Castleford.
You mentioned that Alex Mellor is playing normally as a back row, and he's in the centre at the moment, and we've got Lewis Johnson, who also is a back row, would normally be playing there, also playing in the centre tonight.
Yeah, they're decimated. Their outside backs have been decimated this year. They've got a few that are maybe on the way back, but for now they've got two back rows playing there. It's such a difficult position to defend at 2 in, especially when you're up against Tyrone May, Mikey Lewis and Niall Evalds. They're going to have a big night defensively, Fraser. They're going to have to get it right more than they get it wrong. Alex Mellor not doing an awful lot wrong there, but you're just seeing a blueprint for how Hull KR are going to attack. Flat and fast, and around those two guys who aren't used to defending in that position.
Mikey Lewis then to try and get his 45th goal of the season. Strikes it nicely, and he's gone between the posts, and parity is restored between the two sides.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful ball, wasn't it, from Niall Evalds. As soon as he puts the gas down and runs laterally, this flick pass is exceptional. Wow. Hiku's too strong. All about the pass from Evalds. 6-4 to Cass, but that's dangerous from Hull KR.
5 years to the day since Mikey Lewis made his debut as a professional player, and how he has matured in that time and become one of the best players in Super League.
Under Willie Peters, you know, in particular, he's matured. I think Willie Peters keeps him in check as well. I think there's a real accountability for Mikey Lewis's temperament and his temperament within big moments and big games, and we've seen a maturity to him that we haven't seen in previous seasons this year.
Rovers then on the attack. Jai Whitbread, as Parcell flings it out towards Minchella. It goes past the hands of Tyrone May, but fortunately picked up by Niall Evalds for the home side. 3 in green to bring him down as Parcell gets it out towards May again. May almost busting through the tackle, gets the second one away, and they can't get hold of him here. Peter Hiku getting the run through, and a brilliant run from Tyrone May sets up Hull Kingston Rovers. Here he is with the ball again. A high one over the top here as Oliver Gildart, not quite on the same script as Dean Hadley, but May again, and they love to throw the ball around Rovers as Batchelor. Hiku with a kick forward, it might come back. They'll get another 6 here, will they? Tackle goes in, and drawing huge amounts of applause from these home crowd fans, hugely entertained by what they see week in, week out from the Robins. Sue. Parcell at dummy half. Minchella away to the left-hand side for Lewis. Lewis with Gildart now. Gildart in towards the 10-metre line. Elsewhere, Catalans have taken the lead at Huddersfield. They're 10 points to 0 in front. Mikey Lewis back again now with Jai Whitbread. Stealing another yard or two as Parcell goes for the short side inside for Mikey Lewis. Lewis, brilliant defending by Liam Horn. It's a great tackle. Parcell again down towards Minchella. Minchella along the line and lost as May there saw the ball drop down just in front of him. What's the referee going to give here?
Boys, where do you want it?
Yeah, it's a kick from May, isn't it? And it's just trapped by...
Yeah.
It's offside. It's just an accidental offside as Mellor clips it. I think it hits into Nixon Putt. Craig Lingard and Castleford desperately unlucky there. Real sterling defensive effort. Tyrone May and Lewis and Parcell looking really threatening with the ball. I'd say one thing though about Hull KR, it's a bit loose, their attack there. You're saying how exciting that is. I don't think Willie Peters will be overly delighted with how free it is. I think I'd want them to be settling into it a bit more. See if they can fall into some shape and structure here.
So they get the ball back in. Castleford have to defend again. And Whitbread to the 10-metre line. Players lining up left and right for Parcell. He goes to the right for Minchella. And in towards May. High ball over the top. Burgess does well to pouch that one eventually and keep it going for Evalds. Evalds skipping away and then trying to find a little space through the line before offloading to Batchelor. Evalds waits. And the home fans are calling for that because they think it was too long in the tackle there. Loose ball finds Lewis. Quick hands again from Gildart, but too quick for Ryan Hall. He has to go back and pick it up on the 30.
That's exactly what I mean by just a little bit loose. The skill's a little bit off. Forcing things maybe just a little too much. Look, it comes off and they're good enough to make it work. Wow, Michael Lewis nearly
through again, wasn't he? That was a good tackle in the end from El Zakim. As May goading the Castleford defenders as he finds Evalds. Evalds going for the line, goes for the backdoor pass again. Hiku, though, on this occasion, not quite close enough. But they are really trying to throw it around here. In towards Burgess. And Joe Burgess will get the second try of the night for Hull Kingston Rovers. And they were throwing it around all over the place. Waiting and waiting and waiting for that final pass and that final bit of space, and Joe Burgess finds it.
Yeah, without doubt. Less politics, more pace from Joe Burgess here tonight. Fantastic finish from him. And that just comes through a period of pressure from Hull KR. As I said, it was frantic, it was scrappy at times. That being said, it really was stressing out the Castleford defensive line. And they just couldn't deal with the inevitability of points here. And it's Tyrone May. He's probably the architect of a lot of chaos at the start of this game for KR. All of it's come off. It's a wonderful ball. He spots that they've got numbers. Once again, that left edge, it's Mellor, who's just, I think, not accounted for in his senior being left on the floor in the ruck. He couldn't get back out in his senior. So Alex Mellor's just posted on his own out there. It's a fantastic ball. Willie Peters will be happy, but without doubt his message will be settle. Just settle. They've got the quality to really methodically take Castleford apart. They certainly don't need to be forcing things. That being said, beautiful ball from Tyrone May. Exceptional finish from Joe Burgess, who dots it down in the corner. Entertaining stuff.
Well, Rovers have got a fantastic record against Castleford in recent meetings. They've won 6 of the last 7 in Super League, including the last 3. But their most recent victory only came by a single-point margin. That was back in round 15. Earlier this season. Mikey Lewis then with his second opportunity to add another 2 points. Standing in front of that full stand of Robins fans who absolutely adore this fella. Strikes it again and strikes it well. 2 from 2 from Mikey Lewis.
Yeah, solid strike from Mikey Lewis. Willie Peters knows that's just clinical execution. It's a beautiful ball from Tyrone May. Said in his senior, just caught in the ruck. Couldn't get back out onto that left wing. Left Joe Alex Mellor out there on his own. A great finish. We spoke about Joe Burgess' defence. We all know he can attack. He can score long-range tries. An excellent finisher. But his defensive efforts last week were what stood out for me.
Rovers receiving again then. As Hiku gets wrapped up on the 20. And May finding Suaso Su. Burgess was looking to get the first receipt, but instead it comes out to Hall. Matt Parcell having a terrific season for Rovers, playing at hooker. As Minchala gets it out towards Lewis. Another high tester for Tex Hoy. Hoy being pushed back by the Rovers defence here.
And that's what has become a trademark of Hull KR. Not only with clutch defensive players and big tackles, big one-on-one tackles, but collectively they put numbers into the ruck more than any other team. Suppress the metres at which teams can make against them, albeit a great carry from Alex Mellor there.
Horn out wide to the right-hand side, and that looks like it's a high shot from Dean Hadley. Referee has indeed given the penalty. A little bit of breathing space here for Castleford now.
And it looks like the way out of their half is going to be penalties. There was Tyrone May offside, and that's a high shot from Dean Hadley. It just piggybacks Castleford out of the half. It's an easy way to get out of your half. Cheap from Hull KR, but Craig Lingard will be delighted. Hull KR have just been in the ascendancy for the last 4 or 5 minutes just to have a breath here, just to get some ball at the right end of the field and create some distance from their try line.
So Castleford will get it back 40 metres from the Robins line as Lewis Johnson is tackled. Ali El-Zakem wide to Mills, and then hands in from Westerman. As Horn waits at dummy half with Mustafa being tackled. Nixon putt now for the visitors, and they're making good field progress here as Liam Horn brings it out towards Miller again. Westerman, now Mills, and good in towards Zakeem. Zakeem, oh, it almost came off there for Rowan Mills as he tried to get one through the back door. But the ball bouncing off players all over the place, and Rovers regain possession.
This is dangerous again from Castleford. Westerman pulling the trigger, and Zakeem, who's just lethal when it comes to offloading the ball. It's a beautiful one to Milnes, and then they're just playing basketball at that stage. Doesn't come off, but it's threatening. And again, Westerman, the architect of creating space for the Castleford outside backs.
Eliel Zakem, going into this round, had 37 offloads.
Compulsive. He cannot help himself.
He certainly loves it. He's third on the list as far as the most are concerned. Rovers in possession here, though, with Ryan Hall. Hall upended on the halfway line. As Mikey Lewis waits. Moves Mustafa getting in the way. Referee tells him to restart from there. May, high ball. Hoy going for the catch and takes it well. But look at how the Robins line is straight up on him on the 20, forcing Tex Hoy back immediately.
Yeah, they're a disciplined side, just as ironic because it's 2 penalties that's really gifted Castleford some field position in the opening 20 minutes here, but they've been hugely defensive orientated and disciplined.
The Dragons are extending their lead at Huddersfield, 14 points to 0 now.
How big's that? Because Catalan have been on the slide. That bad they brought. Sam Tompkins is out of retirement now. They need that.
That was quite a result last week for the London Broncos, wasn't it? Meantime, here at the moment, Rovers leading by 10 points to 6. And I have to admit, I thought that first kick from Mikey Lewis had gone through, but turned out not to be the case. Burgess now. Over on the far side, up towards the halfway line. As it's brought in through the middle. Hiku being tackled. Tyrone May waiting just behind him. Batchelor. And that'll be another set of 6 as the ball comes out of the tackle there. The referee calls a penalty.
Yeah, a couple of changes for KR. Tanganoa coming on the field.
And that's the worst thing you want to see, really, if you're a Castleford player at the moment.
Well, you concede a penalty, and then you've got Tanganoa who's going to rip your inside shoulder off by running a devastating line. The setup on the right-hand side of the field for people at home, Tanganoa's sat out on this left edge here, number 20. Powerful ball carrier, Fraser. Been really destructive in patches for OKR, and a real point of difference to Dean Hadley and Batchelor, and more workmanlike.
May. Mikey Lewis. Quickly for Evels, and here is Tanganoa. Partington. Gildart, rather, sorry, as Tanganoa away to the right-hand side. Was confused by old Wigan teammates there for a moment.
Easily done.
10 from the line, as Parcell has it. Finds Minchella. Quickly in for Whitbread, who's another big impact player. Parcell goes away to his right-hand side. And they're happy to quickly pass the ball here, and just pushed on there.
It was there, wasn't it? Evels, they'd done everything right on the inside of the line. It was a tight play near the post that just strips Castleford's left of numbers. There's no doubt Hull are attacking Castleford's left. Mellor comes in, Batchelor's clean through. If he can take that in, that's a try. I think the concerning signs for Craig Lingard and Castleford is whenever Hull move the ball to that right-hand side, Tyrone May and Evels are causing them real problems.
Having said that, given the fact that Rovers have had quite a few opportunities, we're what, 24 minutes almost into this game, and it's only 4 points difference between the two sides, so there is some light there for Castleford to hang on to.
Well, that's been the difference in Castleford, hasn't it? Maybe the last 6-7 weeks of the year. You know, they've just defensively got the house in order. At the start of the year, they were a bit of a shambles in that regard. Craig Lingard and Danny Maguire have obviously worked incredibly hard at it, and that's their improvement. They've just become harder to beat.
Westerman. And here's Mustafa. Plenty coming up, of course, this weekend as far as Super League is concerned. Leeds versus Wigan tomorrow should be an absolute cracker at Headingley. Lee versus Hull and London versus Warrington on Sunday, finishing off round 21. And of course, next week we have the excitement of the annual Super League get-together. Elland Road, as Magic Weekend will be happening again. Liam Horn for Castleford as Mills goes for it. Straight into the hands of Mikey Lewis, who was watching that ball all the way. Ryan Hall now pushing off the attentions of several men in green before a massive hit comes in.
Wow, Liam Horn just got through Ryan Hall's ribs. That's tough. It's like tackling a Swiss ball with pistons attached to it, tackling Ryan Hall. Well, Horn's just cut straight through the middle of him.
Batchelor tackled as Evels gets it away over the halfway line now. Westerman and Daniel Hindmarsh, who's come on as a substitute for Castleford, involved in that tackle, as Parcell finding Hiku. Oh, and then just a knock on by Mark Parcell.
I'll say it again, they're just forcing things here, Fraser, and they don't need to. A champion team would be humble enough to build a game here.
Trying too hard?
Trying too hard. Just pushing things, forcing it. It's a nice night, isn't it? Big crowd here at the Sewell Group Craven Park, wanting to impress. I don't think Willie Peters will be overly impressed with just their urgency to score points or create opportunities. I just think they can be more patient.
Castleford then with head and feet at the scrum on their own 40-metre line, as Horn to Milnes, and now Lewis Johnson. Milnes again goes inside for Hindmarsh, who is a huge fella, by the way, in terms of his stature. Away to the left-hand side, Kane Robb, another substitute for Castleford, as Putt gets it away. It's a lovely offload there for Kane Robb, and Robb is another jack-in-the-box style player as he manages to find Lewis Johnson. Still going. This is a good run here from Castleford as they have a little purple patch moving their way in towards Robbins' territory. Milnes goes for the short side again. El Zakim, and he goes for another offload, but it's a loose ball. It has gone backwards, though. Hindmarsh will pick it up, has it? No. The referee thinks again.
I think you're being kind to him. I don't think it was an offload. I think he was getting it out, ready to offload it, and it just popped out. Fraser just looking to get it out, flicks out. Went forward.
I always like to give players the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I don't think it was ambitious if it was an attempted offload.
Yeah.
But Hull KR have got to be cautious. There's a cautionary tale here for Hull KR. Do not give Castleford energy and field position, because almost the shackles are off with them. They've got nothing to lose here. They're chasing down Huddersfield, who are just a point above them, and look, it'd be lovely for them to finish top of that bottom four, but their season's done, so they can take risks. So just do not give them the ball.
Hull Kingston Rovers season very much alive, and as I said, given the way that the top of the Super League table is so tight, every point is vitally important. And nothing less than 2 here tonight for the Robins will suffice, as Hiko gets a lovely ball out towards Joe Burgess. Burgess has done well to stay in field there.
Big tackle from...
Rolls a bit back.
It was big tackle from Senior, wasn't it? 2 quick men, 2 rangy men, like 400-metre runners. Great tackle.
May. Long pass for Gildart to go chasing after. Gildart does well. Not quite bursting the tackle, but still getting a few extra metres before Lewis with the left boot high into the air. Who said that bounce off? I don't think we've ever seen that before in a game.
I mean, the shape of a rugby ball and the shape of a head, I don't know much about physics, but for the ball to come straight back in the air, it's almost impossible. Unbelievable. On your head, Milnes. Bunk. Too good.
I think it was Rowan Milnes who, well, that's one for the Christmas tape.
Yeah. Trick play.
Meantime, Castleford have possession. And Kane Robb into Miller. And a lovely run away now from Tex Hoy. Hoy is away through the centre. He needs some support down to his right-hand side or to his left if he can find somebody. It doesn't come. Senior was almost alongside him. But Castleford all of a sudden are on the attack here. And Milnes through towards El Zakim. In towards the 20-metre line. Rovers hold him up. It takes 3 of them to eventually bring him down. Horn waits at dummy half. Down to the left flank for Westerman. And Robb away to Miller. Miller in towards Mellor. Mellor just towards the edge of the 10-metre line. Kane Robb again, wanting to get everybody back quickly. Miller goes for the kick into the corner. Senior was running and chasing, but Hull Kingston Rovers were wise to it, and Joe Burgess right underneath there.
Yeah, as we said, Castleford dangerous with the ball, and just a clean break. Just getting them down the field. The Hull KR look a little bit rattled here. And it's Tyrone May for me. Tyrone May has had a poor start to the game. Some magic, some dangerous things. That's just a one-on-one miss. A one-on-one missed tackle. And look what the net result is. Castleford all the way down the field.
Hadley does well, offloads, finding Lewis. Lewis going on one of his trademark runs before a lovely off-road in towards Nye Levels, and then Gildart down the right-hand side, back in towards Mikey Lewis, and Mikey Lewis will score. And once again, Hull Kingston Rovers turning defence into attack, having had the ball in their own corner, running all the way to the other side, and Mikey Lewis finishes it off for another try for the Robins.
Yeah, it's beautiful from Mikey Lewis. Great support play. And excellent from Gildart, wasn't it? The strength from Gildart really made that opportunity. He's looked dangerous and strong every time he's carried the ball so far here tonight. And Mikey Lewis knows and sniffs opportunities to get on the scoreboard. 14th try of the year. And it's his strength that starts it all. And this is control. This is just powerful running from Gildart and great support from Mikey Lewis. Started by Mikey, finished by Mikey. Measured offload, and it's this ball here from Mikey Lewis. Just creates the space. Great speed from Gildart. Fantastic ball back inside now from Mikey Lewis, who dots the ball down. After a period of pressure and maybe a scratchy start for Hull KR, that's exactly what they needed, Fraser. And a nice little cushion for them. 9 minutes to go before the half-time break.
Hull Kingston Rovers have scored the most tries of any team in the campaign when starting possession from a kick return. 19 times they've done it going into this game. That now makes 20. So they really know how to take the ball from one side of the pitch to the other in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, they do, and I think in that comes a skill and responsibility to do it in the right way. For me, that was just Mikey Lewis forcing a tackle bust and just creating something not particularly risky. I think if they get the balance right here tonight, they could be on for a great night, but they just don't need to force it. Exceptional play from Mikey Lewis. So powerful, such a powerful carrier of the ball. Causes the best defenders in our competition problems, causing Castleford all sorts of problems there.
14 tries for the season now for Mikey Lewis. Two more points on offer here now. And a chance to stretch the lead to 10 points. Well, he's pushed that one. Well,
Poor strike, wasn't
he's
it?
not brought his kicking boots with him tonight.
No, he's really improved in that area. Obviously, he had a bit of a drama with goal kickers, with Jez Litton being their main kicker, but it's all about the strength and the vision of Lewis. Just the best player on the field, isn't he? By a mile. Not only the vision to support and the effort to support. Just created and finished by one man. It's excellent from Mulcair, and a really important night for them tonight. After beating Warrington last week and getting 2 points up, leaving Warrington back on 28 points, it'd be really disappointing not to back that up with a performance here.
I was going to say, was there any sort of danger, do you think, as something after the Lord Mayor showed, so to speak, as Ryan Hall is tackled?
There shouldn't be. There shouldn't be. I think they've got higher standards than that.
Huddersfield have struck back. Catalans leading by 14 points to 4 now at the John Smiths. Parcell in towards Minchella, and it's a good run through the middle for Sam Luckley, who's come on as a substitute just over the halfway line. Parcell again goes quickly in towards May. Lovely high ball over the top again for Burgess to run down the line, but there's too many men in green to come and try and back him up. Doesn't bother him though. Back inside and stealing those extra yards. Always working so hard for his side, Joe Burgess, as May looks for the offload and finds it with Evels. Evels bouncing off players. Westerman tries to get him pulled down, and now Luckley again. Quick play of the ball from Rovers. Lewis goes for the corner. Up goes Ryan Hall. Gary got a hand to it though. Tanganoa pushing it backwards, but the referee deciding that Castleford should get possession back here.
Yeah, just got touched, did Tanganoa. Tried to just scoop it backwards, but just a touch off Ryan Hall's challenge. Just a very little knock on. It's a delicate kick from Lewis into the corner. Almost not dealt with by Castleford. It's a tough place to start this, Fraser. Talk about 10 in from the sideline, 10 out from your try line. Well, realistically, you want every kick to finish in that box. It's just the most difficult part of the field to come out of. The line tightens up and is aggressive. You can get numbers into your tackles, very much like Hulker have done there, and it makes it very difficult for Castleford to get out the half here.
Here's put for the visitors, Mustafa rather. As, it's away to the left side. Kane Rob and Tex Hoy being shoved over as Putt gets tackled there. Mellor up towards the 30, and Westerman. They're starting to make a few more yards and a few more inroads into this Rovers defence here, Castleford, as they grow further and further into the game. Burgess away to the right-hand side. Daniel Hindmarsh putting some pressure on, along with Mellor. May. Tackle on the halfway line. Westerman and Robb. As down the line it comes once more. Here's Kalepi Tanganoa. Lots of pushing and shoving going on in at the ruck as Minchella finds May again. Short offload for Evels. Evels is tackled at the second attempt by Robb, but quickly taken on by Parcell in towards a lovely bit of hands from Hadley. Down the left it goes for Ryan Hall. Ryan Hall into the corner, and he just shoves his way off the defender. Get out of my way. Thank you very much. And Ryan Hall strikes, as we've seen him do so many times during his career.
Oh, but it's just sublime what happens on the inside of that. Ryan Hall finishes. He's expecting to finish in that situation, such a big man. But it's exquisite from Hull KR. Crisp, clean, executed perfectly. Skill was on the money. And it came from Matt Parcell, who's been dangerous. He runs around Dean Hadley, gets the ball back. And it's beautiful hands. Tanganoa, Gildart, Ryan Hall in acres of space. Look, Texoy's no chance. Not a chance there.
He just bundled him out the way, didn't he?
So sharp, though. The skill here is crisp, Fraser. That's what's beautiful about it. It's executed, the timing's perfect, and the finish on the end of it's powerful. But fantastic opportunity, bit of play. Matt Parcell, we need to talk about Matt Parcell because he had such a tough time at Leeds. He's come to Hull KR. It's not really gone all that well for him here, but in the last 8-10 weeks, wow, he's been exceptional, and that was built from him and his combination with Dean Hadley. Really strong, and he'll be delighted with his form at the minute. And do you know what? Willie Peters will be delighted with how his number 14 playing at hooker, Matt Parcell, is going, just creating that. And it's two pieces of vision, isn't it? The Mikey Lewis try, out of nothing, just a carry, bumps somebody off and supports Oliver Gildart. Well, that one's just Matt Parcell running off a quick ruck. And look what it creates. Nothing too fancy, nothing too flash, just great skill.
It's his 8th season in Super League, Matt Parcell. As Craig Lingard looks on, it's Parcell's 6th with Hull KR, and as you say, perhaps didn't have the best of times when he was playing at Leeds, but certainly this season has been a key component for the success that Hull Kingston Rovers have had so far this year. So let's see if Mikey Lewis can have the actions. He can't. He's missed another. Well, this is very unusual because going into this game he had a 75% success rate.
Yeah,
but 1 from 4 now.
Yeah, it's a poor one. Parcell's so sharp, spots a quick ruck. Combination with Hadley's gorgeous, but all about Matt Parcell. Hall with a finish, dots it down. Mikey Lewis will be disappointed. They've been better than this, haven't they? Obviously, he's missed 3 kicks now, so it could be way more comfortable than what it is. Mikey Lewis knows how important those 2 points are.
Yeah, going into this round, he'd kicked 44 from 59 attempts. But clearly, the percentage will be dropping just a little bit after tonight, the way things have gone. However, it still means that the home side leads by 12 points with just over 2 minutes remaining in this first half. And despite the looseness that you've spoken about, as Luckley comes forward here, they are in a very good position.
Yeah.
All lost here, though.
The game's just getting too quick for Castleford, and you see Matt Parcell running. That's because the ruck control from Castleford's just not there. They're really struggling to deal with how powerful Hull KR are and how well those Hull KR players are at just finding something quick. It's a ball steal, penalty, and Hull KR just get the chance with 90 seconds left. How good would more points be here?
Petter Hiku down the right-hand side, looking for the offload. It doesn't come, but he's brought the ball right up against the Castleford try line here as Burgess with a long pass, and that'll be a knock-on from Tyrone May. And there's a bit more of that looseness that you talk about.
Yeah, but by far the better team. My challenge is, if you're not playing Castleford, who've been having a tough year and had a tough year, pretty much been in 10th spot all season, would Hull KR have been punished by a better side? Well, we won't know, but I know that Willie Peters will be more demanding of his team. Some sublime moments with the ball, though. You know, when they've executed and when the skill's been fantastic, almost untouchable. Alex Mellor's just got a bit of claret coming out of his schnoz.
Yeah, he took a bit of a whack there in that tackle, and we'll need a bit of looking at. Meantime, Senior with the ball. Kane Robb waiting behind him. Down the line it goes. Westerman, Miller, and then into Tex Hoy. And Hoy finding himself a little bit of space before eventually being wrapped up in the tackle.
6 again. Go back in, Castleford.
It'll be 6 again here. Lewis Johnson. Castleford then with a chance for the last 30 seconds to try and get a bit of a foothold in this game.
2, move Gillespie. Matt, you know square, Matt.
Narmo was tackled there as down the left side they go. Still got space here as Miller hands it out to Mellor and Putt, and eventually to Kane Robb. Narmo waiting behind him. There goes the hooter, so they've got to go for it this time. Kick goes into the corner. That will be easily defused by Ryan Hall. And that is the end of the first half, with Castleford really under the cosh. Hull Kingston Rovers firmly in control.
Yeah, a spirited start from Castleford. Hull KR maybe gifted them a few opportunities early in that game, but Hull KR by far the better team, Fraser. Just powerful and dominant, and looked at when they wanted to control the speed of the game, they could. Off the back of that, there's just so many fantastic ball carriers and attacking threats in the Hull KR team that they're just effortlessly creating opportunities.
The sheds at half-time, John.
I think for Willie Peters, the message is easy. You know, more of the same. Execute, though. You know, you can't just recklessly play because you're playing against lesser opposition. I think respect possession might have been his message, but he'll be delighted with some of their execution. For Craig Lingard, they've just got to physically get into the battle, because whenever Hull KR want to play with power and with any pace, they just blow Castleford away. So defensively, Fraser, that'll be the message. Aim up.
Just looking at some of the statistics at half-time, the Rovers' wings have really been incredible in terms of metres gained with ball in hand.
Yeah, Joe Burgess went for 170 metres in that first half. Ryan Hall 130. Wow, that's just big numbers, and it shows you how difficult those two characters are to deal with.
Bright start so far, though, for Kane Robb and for Castleford Tigers, as they bring the ball out towards the halfway line with Sylvester Narmo, and then out towards Westerman, who was waiting for Hindmarsh, but he gets wrapped up in the tackle. Westerman finding Robb now, and then the kick comes through from Milnes. It's a long one, this. Oh, and an interesting bounce. They might get possession back here, Castleford, but it's scooped up by Mikey Lewis, and they turn it into an attack with Niall Evalds. Evalds almost away, but Tex Hoy following him, eagle-eyed as he came towards him, and gets the tackle in to eventually smother Niall Evalds. But they're still in possession here, Rovers, with Lewis finding Kalepi Tanganoa.
Such an unfortunate bounce, wasn't it, from the Castleford kick?
I thought they were going to get possession back there, the way it was bouncing.
Like it.
Meantime, Hiku down to the right-hand side, shrugging off would-be tacklers before eventually Nixon lifts him up there, and the referee not happy with the way that tackle went in, and that'll be a penalty.
Yeah, his legs just went above the horizontal.
Just wait a second.
No harm came of it. Hiku just put into a little bit of a dangerous position. See there, just angled, gets dropped towards his head, nothing in it. Just a penalty.
Richard Martin was like barely, and he got yellow card.
It's just being reviewed.
Hull KR, they were facing, coming out of their own end, and just an unusual bounce from that kick. How quick were Mikey Lewis and Niall Evalds to just latch onto that rogue bounce and get them down the field. It's a great reaction from Evalds, but this is the penalty.
Yeah, the referee just having words with the video referee here about that tackle from Nixon Putt.
Joe.
And I think
Nixon.
we could be seeing a card coming out here for lifting the legs above the horizontal.
You lift him into a dangerous position, and he lands shoulder first.
What's said?
It's 10 minutes.
Yeah, Liam Rush getting out the yellow cards, and Nixon Putt
just needs to be careful,
will spend 10 minutes in the bin.
Too dangerous. Hey, you were right on that one. Let's just wait till it goes off. Tom McConnell, it's a penalty for a dangerous lift. Wait there. Wait.
It's
I'll tell you
crazy
when.
that's a yellow card.
Wait!
Pet Hiku does a bit. He does a bit of rolling over to put his head in a bit of an awkward position to make it look worse than what it is. Tough call.
Luckily, bringing it forward for Rovers, who all of a sudden have been given a bit of extra impetus. Manchella's soft hands as Parcell waiting behind Hadley. Minchella. And the Castleford Tigers defence really under pressure now as Hadley trying to burst his way through the tackle. Just a couple of metres from the line. Parcell goes out wide to the right-hand side for Luckley. Luckley is upended. This is the 5th. Parcell goes for a long pass to find Tyrone May. May can't find a gap. And that's the turnover.
Yeah, I think they would have been looking to get to a kick or find a kick there, just build some pressure with a kick. Certainly not a bad option running the ball. Tyrone May will be disappointed with handing the ball over 6 metres out from the Castleford line, but this is a really tricky spell now. They've got best part of 9 minutes with Nixon put off the field. What was already a difficult job is almost looking impossible.
Senior is tackled in possession, and Robb twisting and turning. Kane Robb, as he often loves to do. But there's a big tackle gone in there by Sam Luckley, and Kane Robb looks like he's in a spot of bother here.
Shoulders out.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that is the worst. Fraser, I can tell you from first-hand experience, it is awful, that feeling.
It's clearly the shoulder.
It don't matter, it's clearly
of Kane Robb.
Sam asked me to stop it, so.
The funny thing is, when it goes back in, it's the most relieved you will ever be. You've never felt relief like it. He just drops, falls on his shoulder here, just lands on the point of his shoulder.
I agree with
and to be fair, Sam Luckley could see immediately from the reaction from Kane Robb that he needed to get off and let him get up to the ground. And the physios, this is where they really earn their money, isn't it?
Yeah, without doubt. Look, it's a tough sport, isn't it? Kane Robb's as hard as nails, by the way. You know, as painful as that is, if that goes back in and there's no issues, they'll be fine. For people who have shoulder injuries, they know exactly what he's going through here. It can be the most innocuous things. Kane Robb will have to go and get that looked at. Just a word on players like Kane Robb for Cass. So Craig Lingard's got a 5-year plan, and it's very much built around where they're going to be in 5 years' time. Maybe using a club like Hull KR as a blueprint. The Castleford fans clap Kane Robb, but it will be built on players like Kane Robb, like George Hill. These players that they're producing themselves, they haven't got the financial means to go out and sign marquee players. So they have to develop their own. They have to bring young players through. So it's sad to see Kane Robb, who's been such a bright young star for them, go off the field here.
Young Fletcher Rooney as well, for example, had a great game last week on his debut, try scorer in the game against Lee, which ultimately ended in defeat, and they've knocked on here again, Castleford. And gifted possession back again to the Robins, who celebrate.
Yeah, it's just a bit sloppy from, I think, from Zakim really, and Miller just getting the timing wrong. Texoy, all of it was just slightly out of rhythm. Jacob Miller, you know, he's a very experienced player. You know, he's come into form over the last 6 weeks. Not his best there for Castleford. They bring Horn on. I mean, he's had a great year for Castleford.
He's been superb, hasn't he?
Solid defender, so Kane Robb's misfortune, but Horn back on the field for Cass.
Horn missed the game last week due to suspension. But a key player for the Castleford Tigers. Sam Luckley to the 20 as Parcell out to Minchella and Hadley. So many big players in the front line for Rovers. Just finding an extra yard or two there. Dean Hadley. Parcell quickly out to May, back in for Minchella, who is brought down by Westerman, and that may have been offside.
I think it was high, Fraser. I think he's just caught him slightly high. Joe Westerman, he remembers a time when that was nothing. Unfortunately, Joe, things have changed.
Yeah,
just catches
a bit
him
high, isn't it? Yeah,
he just sort of open hand slaps him in the face. Okay, just get more possession now. A more field position, something that they actually dominated. Whenever they controlled the ball in that first half, they got out of their own half with ease and spent a lot of time at the Castleford end of the field. And this is an adjustment in mindset, what you're seeing here. Mikey Lewis deciding to go for 2 points. This is not off the back of him missing a plethora of kicks in the first half, and he's just choosing an easy one.
He just wants to improve his percentage rate, doesn't he?
No, but it's a mindset shift. It's respect for the opposition. And actually, that's the kind of attitude you expect from a champion team. Might be a strange decision, considering the 12 points up. But I think it's a wise decision when it comes to the mindset of the team. Just get them into this half.
Scoreboard pressure as well for the home side.
Yeah, keep it ticking. We saw Mark Sneed, didn't we, last night do that? Just keep the ball ticking over, taking 2 points. And the amount of times Salford have been in games because they've just taken points when they're there. Slightly different situation. Look, Hull KR are the better team, as we said. But Catalan over again, over at Huddersfield.
18 points to 10 now. The Dragons lead at the Giants. As a ball is hoisted once again high, and that's luckily he was trying to offload there, and as a result Castleford come back up with possession through Liam Horn. 10 metres now from the Rovers line as Sylvester Narmo tries to smash his way through this Rovers defence. Brought up just short. Horn wants it played quickly again down the left side. They can sense an opportunity here, Castleford Tigers, as Jacob Miller is wrapped up, but they've got tackles in the bank. As Horn goes away to his right, layoff from Westerman for Narmo again. Narmo wraps another 3 up in the tackle. Horn assesses his options, goes to his right hand side. Westerman and Hindmarsh now trying to tire out this Robins defence as they look for an opportunity. Horn away towards Westerman again. Now Miller skipping through. He's brought down, and that is the turnover, and they should have done better there, Castleford.
Yeah, Sam luckily give him a gift. Castleford couldn't break Hull KR down. Credit to Hull KR's defence there though, Fraser, because off the back of the Luckley error they got organised and they got some intensity about them. Really made Castleford's players look flat and slow, but I think that was dictated more by Hull KR's intensity with how they've defended there. They pride themselves on the goal line D this year. It's been the area of improvement under Willie Peters, only conceding an average of 12.9 points a game. That's a try better than the year before.
Quick hands again. It's always so quick as Mikey Lewis bursting through the tackle. Brought down in the second attempt by Jason Gary. And then the referee's blown his whistle once more.
He's not been shy of that, has he, Liam Rush? Just send him back. Get back there and play it.
Well, he wants to be precise in where the tackles are made and where the ball should be played from. And I don't suppose you can really argue with that. He's given another 6 here because Jacob Miller spent too long on the floor there, stopping play as Rovers wanted to get it played quickly. Parcell. That's a big whack goes in there. As Batchelor back in through towards Hiku.
He's just a handful, this Hiku. He's so strong, and his lateral movement's exceptional as well. Often high up in the meters, and tackle busts for Hull KR. Such a dangerous weapon out on that right centre.
Burgess at dummy half this time as Evans flings it away to Minchella. Through the hands it goes quickly in towards Kalepi. Tanganoa being held up by Zakim there, getting his hands in. The referee has wave play on for Rovers to have another go with Minchella and Lewis, and Batchelor once more. Batchelor close to the line, still hasn't been completed the tackle. Having a good close look at this one, the referee, before eventually calling it. Parcell waits, goes to his left. Minchella, long fling out towards the left side. A little chip forward for Lewis. He might get another go here, Lewis, and eventually the tackle is made. And that is the turnover. Good defending there from Castleford.
Good defending, but Ryan Hall's giving Mikey Lewis a little bit of a wave and said, did you see that was in acres of space, Mikey? Pass it to me. That's Jason Gary, who's the winger. He's in front of Mikey Lewis as he kicks it. Ryan Hall would have clearly been in, but as you rightly said, Castleford showing a bit of resilience. Especially with a player down as well. Yeah, this is not good for KR. Concede a penalty offside. Someone's going to the bin. Suaso Su's give the referee a mouthful and he's gone.
Well, there were a few words being had a little bit earlier. Now the captain being called over, and Liam Rush telling Elliot Minchella to get his troops in order, because Suaso Su is going to sit down for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's not great. You know, well, I've been in that situation. I've been frustrated at referees more than anybody else, but you've just got to... You've just got to you just have to put a lid on it, Fraser. So Liam Rush just making sure that everyone knows that's not acceptable. You know, Suaso Su thinks that's been milked. Lashes out, and he's got to sit out for 10 minutes now as a result.
The only person whose opinion matters in these circumstances is that of the man in the middle with the whistle. On that occasion, Liam Marsh had enough. Hindmarsh for the visitors. Horn waits, and for a little while now we have both teams playing with 12 players. Quickly out towards El Zakim. Looked as if he was looking for yet another offload, but kept hold of the ball on that occasion. Horn wants it played quickly. Milnes down to the left side for Westerman. Miller over the top for Innis Senior. Senior jinking back inside.
Yeah, Jez Litton on for Hull KR. Matt Parcell taking a rest. More importantly, Castleford going to be back to 13 imminently.
Westerman in through the middle for George Hill. Referee shouting to the Rovers players to get onside as Castleford keep possession. They get wrapped up here though, and that is that.
Yeah, Nixon put back on the field after 10 minutes for the relatively soft tip tackle. But that's what Castleford need, a full complement to get anywhere near. They're only 14 points down, Fraser. I think attitude-wise, Hull KR just aren't quite right. Just not quite right here this evening. Castleford score next and we're on.
Let's see what happens. And time again this season we have seen occasions where teams have been looking like they've been a long way away in terms of points, but suddenly a little spark comes from somewhere, and before you know it, the fight back is on. Tanginoa up to the 40. Here is Litton. Waiting at dummy half and wants to take it on quickly here. Jez Litton skipping away and finding Elliot Minchella. Minchella has support. Mikey Lewis up to the 10-metre line. That's a great covering tackle. Absolutely brilliant covering tackle from Jason Gary as May gets it away now, this time for Peter Hiku. A little ball out the back and a knock on from Joe Burgess, and again a chance goes begging for the Robins.
Yeah, Jez Litton, we spoke about him coming on the field just to freshen up that middle. Matt Parcell, who's been exceptional, but it was Jez Litton creating the opportunity, creating the break. Hiku powerful. Hiku overplaying. You know, this was it from Litton. Sharp, so sharp. Looked like Mikey Lewis was in. What a chase back by Gary. Unbelievable effort. And then when Hiku gets it, you think it's a try, don't you? But it's just poor execution off the back of it. But
Castleford are not out of this game yet.
Not at all. Not at all. And the more that Hull KR don't take chances or make mistakes, 14 points is not enough.
So they will be buoyed by that, no doubt, and still with a player advantage for a short time as El Zakim to the 30. Horn back inside, and Hindmarsh. Horn wants it played quickly, finding Milnes. Milnes brought down just over the halfway line. They're into Robins territory now. And confusion there as Miller eventually hoists the ball upfield. Straight underneath it is Niall Evalds. And a good shackle there. Oh, my words. Juggling from Joe Burgess. Still going, Joe Burgess. And he's away here through the middle before Castleford eventually bring him down. Well, when your luck's in, you may as well take it.
Bit of a juggle. No stress. We'll just run 60 metres downfield.
Tanginoa now for the Robins. Tanginoa into the corner, bringing it back inside. Oh, my word. Mikey Lewis is throwing his arms around in frustration there.
they might be getting themselves in a bit of a pickle here, OKR. I've been in games like this where you've got chances all the time, and you think you've got every opportunity to close the game down. Tanganoa, it's a poor pass. It's a poor pass to Gildart.
Just
Mikey
look
Lewis,
at Lewis there.
Yeah, but Mikey Lewis knows the importance. They've just missed one chance on the other side. That's just awful. They've missed another chance. And look, OKR are a champion team, one of the best in the competition. But they've got to close this out, because the more these things happen, Castleford, as the opposition, you just start to sense you're going to get a chance. And if Castleford can take a chance, wow, then OKR's nerves will go through the roof.
Mellor for Castleford Tigers. Some important games coming up, of course, for Hull KR next week, of course, at Magic. They take on Catalan Dragons. What a game that could be.
Yeah, massive. Cass bringing Liam Watts back onto the field, sensing the need for that experience through the middle.
There's an upended ball there as Nixon Putt loses possession. Rovers will get it back again here.
Yeah, again, just Jacob Miller just playing right into the teeth of the line. Got to take that Nixon Putt, but it's a gift for OKR. You know, they've just missed a couple of opportunities. You look, some big fixtures coming up. Wow, St Helens, Salford, Wigan, those 3 games in particular.
That's season defining, isn't it?
Well, yeah, Catalan as well. You know, Catalan look like they're on the slide, finishing with Lee. You know, who've come into. That's a tough run in for OKR.
That's a really tough run.
We spoke about it when we were at Warrington the other week. How Warrington had, I think, 4 or 5 games against bottom 3 or 4 teams in the run-in. Yeah, just a tough run in for OKR.
Evels eventually thrown to the ground by Liam Horn. Litton wants it quick towards Batchelor. Litton again. To his left this time. Minchala. And in towards Hadley. Litton goes for May. May takes a step back. And find indeed Handley again. Another offload. And they're just so happy to fling this ball around, but it needs some end result. As Hiku is wrapped up. Burgess, he's having another incredible game, as he did against Warrington last week. From right to left with Lewis into the corner. Up they go, and Gary comes away with it this time.
There's a nice kick from Mikey Lewis, accurate, who said that 10 in 10 out box, what you're just aiming for every time, but Gary deals with it well. A few good touches from him tonight. Great defensive effort on that chase back for Mikey Lewis, and a strong carry here. Yeah,
he was missed out last week, Jason Gary. He's made 9 wing appearances this season, played 7 in a row before missing out last week. But back in the side, here's Innis Senior, who's been very much at the forefront of Castleford's try scoring this season. And back in for Miller.
But he's had a great year. He's been one of the standouts for Cass, hasn't he? His combination with Sam Wood on that left. They'll be devastated Sam Wood's out, because they're those two together. A penalty here from OKR. Elliot Minchella's really not happy. He's having words with William Rush. He feels like they're getting a rough end of it at the minute. Offside. Maybe third occasional card being called offside. Minchella's not happy. This is a test now. This is a mental test.
I'm going to say, this is where you're in a position you can't start losing your rag with the referee if 1 or 2 decisions start going against you, because you've got to play what's in front of you. And at the moment, Castleford will feel that they have a chance here. And El Zakim to the 10-metre line. Tex Hoy now at dummy half. Plays it quickly.
You're right, Fraser, you've nailed it, because
they've done it again.
They're just at boiling point here. They just need to settle. You've got to roll with it. Decisions go against you. You might not agree with them, but there's bigger things at play. It's a harsh penalty. I'll say that, Fraser. I can understand, but they've just got to get back on it here. Refocus.
Liam Watts driving it forward for the Tigers. Horn waits. Goes away to his left-hand side, Westerman, and Nixon Putt now. Close, and he's lost the ball. And look at how Kingston Rovers celebrate Having seen a decision go against them just a few moments ago, this one goes in their favour, and they celebrate like they've won the game.
Yeah, and that's what they value, Hull KR. Inside pressure, it's a big tackle. Elliot Minchella coming with a late third effort, just gets a hand on the ball, knocks it out. And they know how important that was. Mentally, the psychology of that, having loads of chances down the other end. Castleford getting possession and then defending your line. It's tough stuff, that, from Hull KR.
And that maybe releases the lid on the pressure cooker a little bit for Rovers to just take a little bit of steam out of their own issues.
Yeah,
they were starting to get annoyed with some of the decisions.
Yeah, well, the man who got annoyed initially is back on the field, Suaso Su. Castleford now conceding a penalty. It's a flop, it's a lazy flop as well.
Slow rock.
So now Hull KR back to 13. And it's just a bit too long.
So, just under 20 minutes remaining in this game. And it's been something of a surprise that we've only seen the 2 points scored coming from the boot of Mikey Lewis, thanks to that penalty. As Minchella gets it through to the middle for Su, who's back on. I wonder if he's been told by the backroom staff to keep a lid on it. As May finds Lewis again, just bounces off a Castleford defender, goes again. Litton options to his left and right here, but they've loaded it on the right-hand side. Minchella for Su. Su running away from defenders, still going. Suaso Su right up against the line, getting close in. Referee says there's a knock on there though, and Castleford will get it back. And Su is really annoyed with himself there.
Yeah, he's a devastating ball carrier. He's just been fantastic for Hull KR, especially near the line. He comes to life, actually. He's trying to score points when he carries it near the line. A lot of big men will just hit a point on the field to set up the next player. Well, Suaso Su scored twice. He scored in the 6th minute against London. He scored in the 6th minute against Warrington last week. He had every chance to get over for a score there as well.
Castleford have got a few tough fixtures coming up in the next few weeks as well. They play Huddersfield at Magic, of course. And Huddersfield taking on Catalans tonight. Warrington, Hull FC, Lee and St Helens. So another set of tough fixtures there.
Yeah.
But as you say, given the way their season's gone, well, it's an opportunity to try a few things out.
Yeah, try some young players, get some combinations, get into the tough part of the year where it's easy to be flat at this time of year. They've got a lot of people who haven't been in that situation before. A good chance for Craig Lingard to test that out. And isn't it weird that they're playing for nothing? And they have been doing for some time.
Watts on the halfway line, played quickly for Horn, and then a high hoisted kick once again straight into the hands of Niall Evalds.
Tidy take from Niall Evalds. Hull KR's back three's been great. You know, carrying the ball, really got and moving Burgess. So we see Ryan Hall carry it off the back of a Burgess carry. Just so strong, so hard to deal with that back three when it's firing. Here's Hall.
Litton wants it quick, running past defenders. Gets a lovely ball off towards Jai Whitbread, and quick from Evalds again, and that's a great take from Petahiku, who's away down the right-hand side. Has he got the legs? He's got support as well. Turns it back in, and Joe Burgess gets his second of the night. And it was brilliant work from Petahiku, scooping the ball out from in front of him. Somehow he managed to keep hold of it and turn it through to Joe Burgess. When it looked as though Castleford might just have an opportunity to get back into this game, Joe Burgess has pretty much put things to bed now.
Yeah, second of the night for Joe Burgess. And it's just magic from Petahiku, really, Fraser. It's a relatively poor ball to him. And what about this for a catch? One hand, taps it, flicks it back up, it's Whitbread. Once it gets out to Hiku, that's some take. Unbelievable from him. And a bit of overchase from Castleford. Great pace from Hiku, by the way. Easy finish from Burgess on the end of it. Good support play from him. But what about this This one-hand pat to tap the ball back up. It's amazing. Oh. It's amazing from Pete Hiku. And do you know what? I love it that he just put the afterburners down. You know, he didn't slow up. He just went, bang, go for the corner. There's something in that. The confidence of just pinning your ears back and going for the corner. We love to see it. For a man who's maybe not renowned for his flat pace, you know, he's known for his strength and how robust he is. But great wheels there from Pete Hiku, and just a pressure releasing try.
95% of the time, those sorts of passes, they're on the deck, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, he's no right to catch that. Can't overestimate it. He's got one hand to it and managed just to cup it back into his own grasp. Sensational.
I was listening to an interview that Willie Peters gave a little while ago at how decisions were made early on in the season about switching Niall Evalds and Pete Hiku from full-back to centre respectively, and whether or not that was going to work. But I think the proof is in the pudding now, isn't it?
Yeah, and look, he's powerful, but you need finesse as well. When you play in the centres, it can be as much about finesse. What about this? That's exceptional. He's got actually no right to catch that. It's a poor pass. Stunning from Pete Hiku. What just that has done Fulcar is massive, because it's just created headroom for them now for the last 14 minutes of this game.
20 points they lead by, Hull Kingston Rovers, as we go into the last 14 minutes of this game. And you can say what you like about the performance, and perhaps it has been a little bit ragged around the edges here and there, but there's no getting away from the scoreline.
No, and you've got to say as well, Castleford have pushed some of the top teams very close. They've beaten some of the top teams this year. So Fulcar would have been very aware that Castleford are not going to be a pushover. I think part of the challenge Fulcar is out. Oh, Burgess in space.
They're off again. Burgess down the right-hand side. Get out of the way, he says to Jacob Miller. Back inside to Niall Evalds, and down the right-hand side. And it's simple as you like. Niall Evalds probably won't score an easier try than that, but it was all down to the pace and the intelligence of Joe Burgess there.
Yeah, I was just saying how physically easy it's been for Fulcar, and that sometimes lulls you into overplaying, and certainly didn't overplay there. Evalds with a try. It was crafted by the pace of Burgess, by the strength of Hiku, and just by subtle hands. An amazing finish from Evalds, and a tidy finish to the game here from Fulcar. A lot to enjoy here about this. Beautiful from Hiku again. Amazing. And a great piece of wing play from Joe Burgess. But it's all about the ball from Hiku. That's just in the line. Great hands, under pressure. Burgess does the rest. Evalds supporting. He's running rings around Miller there. Fantastic few minutes for Fulcar.
Yeah, it's amazing how it's changed from how they were, 5-6 minutes ago, where they were arguing with the referee almost on their own line, and it looked as though the powder keg might go, to all of a sudden that ball being dropped, they get back in possession, and they score 2 tries in a matter of minutes.
They were just frustrated, weren't they? They'd had a couple of opportunities to score, especially the Tanganoa one, which they butchered in that right-hand corner. And that frustration sort of carried over for a few minutes. They just needed a score to settle down. 2 bits of magic from Pete Hiku has just really calmed everything down and brought the Fulcar fans to the feet again.
Mikey Lewis, and he's missed another. Well, a night to forget with the kicking boots for Mikey Lewis. Most unusual for him.
Yeah, it's just Hiku again, under pressure. Great. I love this from Burgess. He's so quick. He's not, I wouldn't say he's the sharpest off the mark, but once he gets going, he's like a freight train. Easy finish from Evalds on the end of it. Willie Peters will just breathe a sigh of relief. Big night for them tonight. They need to keep that 2-point buffer from Warrington, because Warrington go to London on Sunday, which you feel will be an inevitable 2 points for them.
Yeah, after that win against Warrington last week, they had to back it up. And there have been moments in this game where Castleford have caused them a few scares. But in the end, as you say, John, it's been professional from Hull KR in the main. Been one or two scrappy areas here and there, but
Yeah, as I said, I think physically they've been so dominant, and it's hard not to get seduced into bumping players off, finding offloads, finding space. But the scoreboard looks healthy now. You put Mikey Lewis's missed kicks in there, and it's a completely dominant performance.
luckily did well with the offload there, and they're off again here quickly down the middle with Jai Whitbread.
Castle,
Litton waits again.
Castle tired, don't they?
There could be a lot of tries scored here now between the end of the game. Luckily, another offload. Luckily, almost to the line. Litton waiting. This eventually, oh, it's a knock-on being given there. And Castleford will get possession back. Luckily,
In my opinion,
looking at the referee, he has no idea what's happened there.
If I've seen it wrong, I
Yeah,
apologise.
he's frustrated as well. He's had a couple of errors, Sam, luckily. Usually so tidy, undoubtedly be hands on the ball, and he'll be claiming it was stolen. Just had a couple of these as Sam, luckily. It's the right decision from Liam Rush. I think he's got that one right. But Cass, you know, where do they go from here? You know, Craig Lingard's got a 5-year plan for them. He says he wants them in 6th, 7th or 8th next year, then push into the playoffs on year 3, and then be a top 3 side by year 4 of his plan. From where they are now, it's ambitious, but look where we are. Sewell Group, Craven Park. Look at where Hull KR have come from in 5 years to be one of the best teams in our competition. The blueprint's there. Back local players. Get some young guns in there, like a Mikey Lewis, and build around it. It's all about recruitment and producing your own. It's a mistake here.
They have been in terrific form in recent weeks, the Robins. They've won 8 of their last 9 Super League matches going into this one, including 4 on the bounce coming into this game.
It's just an error from Hill. Middle's combining Watts and Hill. A young forward who's impressed at times this year, getting an awful lot of experience at the top level, learning each week, developing each week. That's the key for Craig Lingard, is for their young players this year to go into 2025 in a much better position, in a stronger position, for them to make some great signings in the off-season, which they must do.
Clearly got great faith in a lot of the squad that this is here, especially the young players, and a huge number of them have been signed up on 2- and 3-year contracts.
They've not had a poor year, Castleford. They're exactly where you'd think they would be. They're, you know, 9th, 10th or 11th in the league. That's where they are.
I think you certainly get the impression that around the club there is plenty of optimism in terms of how things are developing for the future, but at the moment the side they're playing right now are playing champagne rugby and enjoying themselves here.
And square. Hold here. William, hold. Go forward.
Litton for Lewis, who's had another fantastic night, as has May, as has Gildart, although he was guilty of dropping one a little while ago. Hall brings it back in towards May, and Lewis back to May. May goes for it himself. Has he got the ball down? Tyrone May drops down to score another try for Hull Kingston Rovers, and they are running rampant here with only a few minutes left in this game.
Yeah, the wheels are off for Castleford here. They're clinging on for dear life to the beast that is Hull KR, to the attacking weapons that are just blitzing through the centre of Cass's defences. Tyrone May this time, but take your pick. Mikey Lewis, Jez Litton, Peter Hiku, all look devastating with ball in hand. It's a nice piece of interplay, isn't it, from your 2 half-backs. May starts it, and then it's the combination with Mikey Lewis that's great, and strength from May. Good finish from Tyrone May. That combination with Mikey Lewis is evolving. I think one of them, the question was at the start of the year, which one of those players would take the lead? Both instinctive players, runners, players who like to create. I certainly think Mikey Lewis has taken on more of that role as the year's gone on. But Tyrone May, when he's hot, he's red hot.
He was magnificent last week. Scored in the game against Warrington. He's got another one tonight. 5 for the season now.
3 from 7 from Mikey. I mean, needs this one.
just to make it up to 50% for the night. Well, if he had got more of them over, as you say, the scoreline could have looked pretty brutal for Castleford. It's not looking great as it is, but certainly could have been significantly worse. We've got just under 6 minutes remaining, John, and time for you to consider who is going to be your Betfred player of the match, as Mikey Lewis does make it 50% for the night.
Yeah,
he's going to be a candidate, I'm sure.
Yeah,
there are plenty of others as well.
Yeah, Tyrone May and Mikey Lewis, they get a lot of headlines, and I love them, love watching them play. They're not what I love about Hull KR though. When I watch Hull KR, I love watching Dean Hadley, I love watching Elliot Minchella, I love watching Batchelor, I love the defensive efforts, I love how diligent and detailed they are. The reason they've only conceded 6 points is the reason that Hull KR have become a successful team. It's not to do with the razzmatazz of May and Lewis. It's the fact that they defend, and they defend with attitude and intensity. So, although they get the headlines, Fraser, that's not what Willie Peters has brought to this team.
Tyrone May, high ball over the top for Litton. Litton just pushing his way past defenders, still going Jez Litton. And even at this stage, with less than 5 minutes remaining, Hull Kingston Rovers still got the bit between their teeth, still wanting more tries and more points. Quickly taken, Parcell back on the field as Whitbread to the halfway line. Parcell again. Litton. May quickly in towards Matty Staunton. Evalds waiting at dummy half, fires it out to Tyrone May. May comes back inside. Here's Hiku. Hiku trying to bounce his way off defenders and eventually gets shoved out over the line. And Castleford will get possession back. He's just tweaked a calf there a little bit by the looks of things, Petter Hiku, but he's okay. And the player he has been all season for the Rovers. Castleford then with a chance to try and put some points on the board before the end of the game and make the scoreline look a little more respectable, perhaps. Elza King. Meanwhile, over at the John Smiths, Catalan Dragons are edging this one against Huddersfield, 16-22. That looks like a tight one as well, doesn't it? Mellor, tackle just over the halfway line. Here's Muiz Mustafa. Back in towards Miller with the hoisted high kick. And that'll be pouched nicely by Niall Evalds. So, John, your thoughts? Who is going to be the Betfred player of the match tonight?
Yeah, a few great performances from Hull KR. I thought Matt Parcell looked really tidy around the rucks. Was just dominant and took advantage of the sloppy cast defence around the ruck area. Mikey Lewis had a good night again, but for me, the man of the match is the man playing the ball, Petter Hiku. He's gone for 200 metres with the ball, averaged 13 metres every time he's carried it.
They're away again here, but they've lost the ball as Gildart loses it.
Yeah. And do you know the other reason I give Petter Hiku man of the match is because when the game was fractured and Hull KR had blitzed a couple of opportunities, it was two pieces of quality from him. A fantastic catch he shouldn't have made that set a try up for Burgess, and then the Evalds try, which was just fantastic soft hands in the line. So not only his 200 metres, but his contribution and finesse. Also trying that first half too, so solid all-round performance from him.
So we'll hear from Petter Hiku at the conclusion of this game. Rovers, though, having to do a bit of defending at the moment. Penalty given. Well, it's not been the best of nights for Craig Lingard's side, has it? He'll have an awful lot to think about.
It'd be disappointing if they finished the year from this point in and didn't get much more out of the season. As I said, they've currently got more competition points than they had last year. You know, that's progression. I certainly know that Craig Lingard wants to finish a couple of spots higher up the table if possible. He certainly wants to cut off Huddersfield, so it's important that Huddersfield get knocked over by Catalan tonight for him.
Long hoisted kick by Mikey Lewis, and Castleford pouch it on their own 10-metre line. They're heading for a third straight defeat. Castleford Tigers having won 3 games on the trot previous to that.
Yeah, just a flat performance, a tired performance, physically outmuscled, outmanned and outgunned by the Robins. Not been a competition at times.
Well, there goes the hooter as Mustafa is tackled for the final time, and it has been quite the performance by the home side. Willie Peters and his staff congratulate each other, and it's been one heck of a game as far as they're concerned. As you say, John, a little bit ragged here and there, but there's no getting away from a very, very convincing scoreline.
Yeah, convincing scoreline and convincing in every aspect. Okay, I've ran for 2,100 metres in comparison to the 1,200 metres that Castleford ran for, you know, just dominant 20.